lastly, orange amps. On September 2nd of 1968, Mr. Clifford Cooper created the first orange amp in a dingy basement shop on Old Compton Street, London. He remains at the helm today. A quiet and reserved man, and certainly not one for a megastar lifestyle, Cooper is probably the last man you would expect to be behind such a highly acclaimed musical company. With just 300 euros borrowed from his father and armed with the enthusiasm and drive of a young man, Cooper set up shop selling a variety of musical instruments. Because of his young age and low-profile establishment, the majority of large manufacturers of the time were more than a little reluctant to accept Cooper as a dealer. So, if he couldn't buy them, the most logical thing to him was to build them. With a background in electrical engineering himself, he engaged a team of the best design engineers around who set about creating all-valve amplifiers, just when the fine and well-established valve technology was being overtaken by transistor-based contraptions. This new wave of amplifiers were cheaper to produce, but could never capture the magical warmth and color of those old valve setups. Cooper had acquired a quantity of orange-colored vinyl, the material used to cover the wooden shell of amplifiers and cabinets, and it wasn't long before the shop was proudly displaying the very first amplifiers to carry the now famous livery. With that, orange amplification was born. The thing was, these new peculiar-looking boxes sounded rather good, and the news of them was soon spreading like proverbial wildfire. So much so, in fact, that orange was almost an overnight success. Before long, orange was standard backline equipment for stages, studios, and rehearsal rooms worldwide. Shortly after this, the big acts of the time started snapping up the products for use as part of their usual setup. Early Fleetwood Mac were among the first famous orange users in the UK, followed by Stevie Wonder in the States. Peter Green's Les Paul and orange amp combination in Fleetwood Mac was responsible for some of the most remarkable guitar sounds of the late 60s, not to mention Jimmy Page and Black Sabbath in the 70s. The 70s were a time of big-budget international tours, with bands packing stadiums and festivals the world over. But when these bands finally washed up on British shores, they found that there was simply nothing powerful enough to drive such big gigs. In stepped Orange, who set about on the construction of a ridiculously oversized public address system, neatly packed into a fleet of bright orange lorries.
But I tried.